This project started in a rather interesting way with me looking at late 16th century Venetian fashion prints, as one does, and there was one print in particular that looked so much like the fabric I had in my stash that I knew I wanted to make it. And related, or unrelated, I was watching a rather popular show about vampires at the time, and this print looked a lot like one very popular character in it. And so we come to the conclusion of this project while I sew the hem and prepare to go take some photos in the forest. There was something about this project that drew me to a more dark color scheme, with rich browns and golds, like the fall, when I would finish it. And thinking about Venetian vampires was a fun way to keep my ADHD brain interested enough to finish it by Halloween. Every art project has a physical process and a more personal mental one. What we work out in our minds as we sew, why we're making the garment, where we start, and where we end up. For me, that involved a lot of shadow work. Shadow work is being used very loosely here. I didn't really follow a plan. I just mean that lately I've been seeking out darker characters and looking at the more hidden parts of myself. This entire year has been about going within, uncovering who I am, and all the bits of old things that were either lost or never felt, drawing out what hadn't and couldn't be spoken yet, and examining it. As children, we are drawn to the characters that show us the spaces we wish we could see as we deal with how hard the world can be. Androids, elves, magicians, superheroes, princesses, aliens, and yes, sometimes outlaws, monsters, pirates, and vampires. Shadow work challenges us to look at what we think is bad, and when we pull it out and look at it, we sometimes realize it really isn't. After all, Frankenstein challenged us to ask the question, who really is the monster here? This year I've looked at so many aspects of society and what they deem as wrong, when in actuality the standards set by the most privileged are incredibly damaging and harmful. What we consider to be good society is actually hurting so many of us. In a white, Christian, gender-rigid, cis-het, neurotypical, thin, white-centered world, one which is getting so ridiculously exclusive where barely anyone fits into its confines, so many of us struggle to be what people consider good and acceptable. And what does that make so many of us? Worthy of the shadows? I don't think so. Shadow work also led me to start thinking about accountability and what that really means. Sometimes the shadows aren't actually wrong, and sometimes we are so scared of looking like we are a failure, we don't actually acknowledge or allow our biases to surface so we can truly see how they hurt us and the people we care about. Sometimes we internalize the very standards that harm us. Sometimes we can't build the trust with someone we love because we can't look within and see the repair that needs to happen inside. Shadow work has been incredibly helpful and transformative. I urge you to be brave enough to look at who you are and how you feel about it, whether you uncover the parts of you that are actually beautiful and shouldn't be hidden, or whether you uncover the parts of you that are getting in the way of connecting to the people you care about. In the end, I didn't get my vampire costume entirely together. I couldn't get my fangs to work, so instead, this is a late Renaissance Venetian outfit. Perhaps this person is non-binary. Perhaps they are queer. Perhaps they are neurodivergent. Perhaps they are still finding out. Happy Halloween, and happy Diwali, my friends. May the darkness bring you some light.